10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2.
Drag racing fan, Monday Morning Racer here. This is the Competition Plus Power Hour. And what a great weekend it was to the begin of the 2022 NHRA Camping World season there in Pomona, California at the Fairplex for the Winternationals. A stellar drag race. We definitely want to hear your comments on what you saw from the broadcast or possibly in the NHRA.tv. It had it all. Beach trips, wrecks, low ETs, fast speeds, storylines for days, a drag race of drag races. It lived up to the hype, I believe, that we have been talking about in 2022 for sure. I was there. My co-host was not there, but definitely we want to get his perspective watching the broadcast and being clued in, and that is Slammin' Sam. Sam, how's it going, man?
Yo. What's up, Lee? What's up? How's it going? Can you hear me? Wow, the 2022 race season has officially begun, living up to the hype, living up to what a lot of people thought would be a amazing year. We have started out the right way, Lee. Hands down, I think we are starting off in the right direction. The path that we're going down is a great one, and it just shows, man. Like I said, we said it last week. Watch each class because each class is going to be jam-packed. Each class is going to be fun, having fun, and we back.
We back. And in the fashion we ought to be, and I think the Winternationals set up what will be a stellar 2022. We go in, I want Phoenix to already be done with. Like, I want to see what happens. Like, who goes in there and continues to be hot, or who takes it away? Because I think we're going to be looking at a year that's going to be a roller coaster of roller coaster rides where, just like last year in Funny Car, Justin Ashely obviously winning, and congratulations to him. But Austin Prock was right there. Steve Torrance, look, it's you can't scoff at a semifinal round appearance. It wouldn't shock me that anybody in that top fuel field of the top 10, top 8, they go on and they actually win at Phoenix, and we're talking about someone else being hot. That's what we're looking at, I think.
Lee, to even discuss that, we at this point don't have to assume. We're not going to assume anything. A lot of people may try and make their mark on what the year is already, crown a champion, crown this or that already. I can say this. There was a statement made for each class. There was a statement made. So if we can start at Pro Stock. I'm going to start there. There was a defined statement made in Pro Stock this weekend. And with the help of someone that we really don't talk about here on this platform, or I don't talk about on my platform, but when you call a driver washed up, when you call a driver old and pretty much say that they're done, that gives them a chip on their shoulder. They're just like any other athlete. So when you say that, you should kind of, just watch your mouth because, thank you, because you put on a show. You made Pro Stock a show for us, the fans, the true fans. Kroger sucks. We still want to know why Kroger sucks.
Yeah, we still do. We still do.
I'm kind of at this point, I really want him to, we should just send him the link of the show so he can tell us why Kroger sucks.
It is the mystery. It is the mystery.
Yeah. So, and then Funny Car. Everyone, I think, has overlooked Ron Capps and what Ron Capps is going to do as a team owner, and what he's doing. I think a lot of people slept on Ron Capps, but that doesn't mean anything. I think people are sleeping on Robert Height too. Like,
I agree.
I
I
mean,
agree. I think a
I
lot of people slept on Ron, and that should not have been the case. I mean, look how long Ron Capps has been in this sport, from top fuel to funny car, champion, second all time on the win list in funny car, to only second the great John Force. And he's been around great owners like the Snake, and he's been around owners like Roger Prince. I mean, he's going to be a successful owner, and he already was a successful driver, and that team shifted almost wholesale. I'm not shocked that he had
no.
a great Winternationals. And then Robert Height and John Force Racing, they're like, you know what? If we didn't have a great 2021, we're going to go back to something we know, and it's already proven, provided dividends. And look at his caliber of the professionalism, that with what happened on the line, he's able to compose himself, react, and get that car down in the groove and win the Winternationals. Awesome.
Well, it's not even that, Lee. Take a week back. You and I were there on Sunday when Robert Height's car went kaboom, right?
Yeah.
Now fast forward a week, and his car is taking it the distance.
Right.
Just saying. I mean, I think, like I said, I said it a couple of times on different platforms and on here. Robert Height this year was the most. I mean, Ron Capps was the most overlooked person with all of the funny business that was going on this season. There was a lot of stuff said, and that's no credit. I mean, no non-credit, I guess, to the other people, to AB, to Cammy Crusoe, to Tony Stewart, and everyone that that happened there. That's no diss to Ron or diss to those people, but I think a lot of people were like, "Oh yeah, it's just Ron Capps." No, it's not just Ron Capps, but then again, it is Ron Capps. So he was overlooked. And then when we go to
Sam, before we go to Top Fuel and continuing just a little bit on Ron gave some interesting insight with him being number one qualifier. He realized going into that pass, and he said this in the media room, the press conference of being number one qualifier, that, and it just, again, it amazes me what these drivers can think about going down the strip, but he knew he was on a pass. He couldn't see the other car outside to him, and he's like, you know what? If I let off a little bit, I won't face John Force round one. But he's like, no, going to get number one. I'll take John Force round one. And that mindset right there, that's a championship caliber mindset, that whether it's the GOAT or no name, give it to me, because I'm taking names still in 2022, even though I might have owner associated with my name.
Oh, for sure it was. Like I said, man, I think overslept, slept on. Like, you doubted someone who was ready to go. Johnny keeps asking questions. I noticed this question here. What's up with the statement, who was washed up? That was referring to what another group site, I'm not going to call them a media site, another group site said about her and her team that she was washed up. She was too old in the category of pro stock, and that she just pretty much, she was done. And if you watch the interview back, she's on stage talking with Alan Reinhart, and she says to the person sleeping in their mother's basement that said, I was washed up, thank you for the extra energy and the extra motivation. And I like it. A lot of people, I think, haven't seen that side of Erica. We've always seen this soft-spoken person that, has kind of just been like, yeah, okay, all right, yep, I'm Erica. But I think now, I think that's the beauty of this season, is that a lot of people are a lot more open and a lot more ready to go. So I think I think it's going to be a funny I think it's going to be a funny time. I think a lot of people are going to say what they feel and feel what they say. And then let's get to Top Fuel, because I want to say this, and I'm going to say it again later. Top Fuel, that win was a minor setback for a major comeback. I'm just going to leave it at that. For what happened, that is a minor setback for a major comeback. And no, Bobby, we see you in the private chat. You got to wait your turn.
Well, we're gonna bring him in just a moment, but yes, Top Fuel. I think we saw the future for sure in that final round. I think we saw the future. It's what we're going to be looking at for a long time.
That is staring down a long-range rifle. You're staring down that scope, and you just shot that bullet, and you're watching it in the scope.
Yep.
Take flight. I mean, I don't know what other would, or here, if you're not a gun enthusiast out there, you don't like firearms. Let me put this: you have just watched someone toss a long-range wad of paper across the room into the trash can. You watched a basketball player shoot the ball from half court. The clock has hit 0, and it's about to go in. I think that's a little bit better, Lee. But, I mean, dude, like we said it. Top Fuel is going to be the new funny car this year. Taken out, round after round, if you look at the people that were taken out, and if you just look at the ladder, you're like, how? How does this pan out? But it just shows, and, it is what it is. I mean, get ready. Like your flight attendant tells you before you get on your flight, we need your seats up in the upright position, your tray tables up, and your seatbelt fastened. Because, oh boy, are we going for a ride. We're going for a ride, Lee, and we slingshot right through Pomona and going now to Arizona. We're going to Phoenix. Wild Horse Pass. So, I'm excited. I am excited.
Me too. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we were to have on the show tonight Glen, Cromwell, and Justin Ashely. Justin Ashely is still lined up, but Glen was not able to be with us, understanding's press or board meeting or something of that nature. We'll have to get him another time as he's already been on the Competition Plus Power Hour, so we're looking forward to that. But we're going to take a break. This show is presented by Weldon High Performance Pumps, and we thank them for being a part of the Competition Plus Power Hour, Competition Plus TV. Definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel. And
wait, Lee.
As I'm saying all this, and I'm about to bring Bobby on, we lose him.
You can't do that. You got to bring Jeff on first. We're not
I know.
changing.
We got to bring Jeff on. We got to bring Jeff.
Hey! But look at this though. Did you see what we just got? We got the story right here.
Oh, here it is. I'll read it. Okay, here's the story. I drove a truck for 21 years for Kroger out of the Livonia, Michigan warehouse, or is that minute?
That's Michigan.
Michigan. Okay. In 2008, Kroger closed the warehouse, putting 1,000 people out of work. Still bitter. Don't shop Kroger. Oh, there you go. Thank you. Thank you for sharing, bro.
Hey,
thank you for sharing.
You can't see. This is what it's about. And this is American as it gets right here. Hard working man has been, working his whole life, trying to make a living, and boom, they close it, puts a bunch of people out. He's like, you know what? My new handle is Kroger Sucks. Like this guy. I like
Bingo.
him. I like him a lot.
Bingo. I like it. I like it.
Like we said, taking a break, Jeff Arend, and then maybe the first get off my track, or who knows what kind of attitude he's got tonight, by the one and only Mr. Bobby Bennett after Jeff Arend.
All right, all four of us here representing Competition Plus, Bobby Bennett, owner, commander-in-chief of it, and Jeff Arend, competitor in the NHRA Winternationals at Pomona with the famed Down Under group, the Russos.
Yep, it was a good weekend.
That's all you got for us? It was a good weekend.
Yeah,
Come
well,
on, Jeff.
I didn't know if else was going to chime in, but yeah, I mean, it was a lot of fun. I mean, obviously Helen and Peter, good friends of ours, they've been stuck in Australia for like the last 2 and a bit years. The car's been sitting in Colton in their shop that whole time. No one's even looked at it, and they weren't sure they could get out of Australia. We'd been talking about the Winternationals, obviously, and finally they got their clearance to get out of there. And it was like, oh my God, like we got so much stuff to do. People don't realize that in the 2.5 years, there's a lot of safety stuff that had to be upgraded. So, the body didn't have the tether kit in it, which is a lot of work to put in it. Just a plate that had to go behind the seat that was made out of titanium. We had to change our whole ignition system. There was just like a whole bunch of stuff we had to do. Obviously, all the safety stuff has to get recertified every year, whether you run or not. So I whipped over to their shop probably 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks before the race, and sent everything out to Dennis Taylor, who obviously does great safety stuff, trick titanium for the bell housing, and got all that stuff certified. We had a few people come in and start working on the car and getting all the safety updates done to it. And, these days, the tough thing is to get parts is super hard. Everybody's back ordered. CP pistons, which we run, which we love their pistons, they're like 6 weeks out. So we had a couple of sets, left, basically like 2 racks of pistons and rods, which, most of the big teams probably have like, 12 or 15 racks. We only had 2. Couldn't do much about that. We got a new Sonny Bryant crank for it. Mike Smith flew down. Another guy named Blue, who works on our team from Alaska, he came down. And those guys thrashed for a couple of weeks to get everything all ready, along with Helen and Peter. And, got the car all ready, went out to Pomona. And, I decided I've learned a lot over the last couple of years racing with some other teams. And I actually detuned it a whole bunch from how we ran it in 2019, taking a bunch of timing out, taking blower out of it, just trying to make it more efficient with the clutch. And, the first run we made, we kind of talked about it. I go, I'll go to at least half track and, maybe 800 feet. Let's see how we do. And there was really no expectations. And, everything worked just perfect. We got lucky a little bit. And, obviously, if you work hard, you get a little bit more luck than if you don't work hard. And the car ran, a great 409. Probably if I got on the finish line, maybe would have gone 407. We were all excited, of course, as we should be. But we didn't think that, let alone it would stay in the show with just a 850-foot run. It stayed in the show, and we didn't have to run the last one. And we actually ended up number 11, which is kind of astonishing out of 20 cars with the talent and the depth of the fields out there, and some of the cars that didn't qualify that, have light years more money than we do. So we went out there on race day, and I really didn't change a whole bunch because I just kind of wanted to repeat the run. I tickled a couple little things, and for whatever reason, it came loose around 330 feet, and we lost to Tasca, who his car kind of shut off right after our car smoked the tires. I saw him driving away a bit. I figured that's enough. And then as soon as I lifted, of course, after smoking the tires, he broke or something. And not saying we could have got him, but it would have been a little bit closer. And if you have a big budget, that's what you get paid to do, is step back on again, do whatever you can to get to the finish line. But the reality of is, if you're racing for a team with not a whole bunch of money or parts, you step back on it, maybe it blows up, and you only get $2,000 for winning that round, I think. So made the right decision. We didn't hurt any parts all weekend, which was kind of amazing. And because of that, we decided to go to Phoenix. As a bonus, we ended up in the top 10 somehow. I don't know how we did that, but so we'll go to Phoenix. There's only 16 cars there, so we're kind of guaranteed to qualify. We all, I think a lot of people know Dell Worsham and Aaron Brooks and I are good friends, but I went over to Dell's today and worked on a bunch of clutch stuff that, that stuff is really the make or break. Everybody has about the same parts to make horsepower with, but your clutch stuff has got to be flat. And went over there and ground all our stuff, and it certainly wasn't flat. So I think I ground about 50 discs there today. So it should make our program a little bit more consistent, because sometimes when it smokes the tires for no reason, it could be because of that. So now we'll take that variable out. Again, because only 16 cars there. We'll go out there on Friday. Want to go to at least half track and make sure it's running good. I think it's going to run better with our clutch program being better. And if it does, I'd be nice to make another run on Saturday just to kind of back it up a little bit. But I said for sure we'll be qualified. Hill and Peter were super happy. My hat goes off to them. They don't have a lot of money. We don't have a lot of parts. and it was kind of a storybook weekend just to qualify in one run at Pomona, which and not many people ever do that. So I told him, I go, you just consider yourselves a little bit on the lucky side that happened. And, we'll go to Phoenix and see how we do there. But, we're going to qualify for sure, obviously, with 16 cars. And, who knows? If it runs a little bit better, maybe on race day, we can upset one of the big guys.
Lee, you guys better put your big boy britches on. It's getting ready to get thick here. All right, Jeff, let's talk about the 800-pound gorilla in the room. How hard is it for teams such as the Russos to make it when they're getting hit with a $1,700 drum nitro bill? That's one over.
I mean, that's one of the things. Obviously, nitro's expensive, but we were just booking hotel rooms because we hadn't booked them yet. And we're not a big team, but you still need probably 4 hotel rooms a night. The cheapest thing we can find in Phoenix is like $250 a night. So you're talking about $1,000 a night for hotel rooms for 4 nights. That's a bunch of money. And obviously nitro going up a few $100. That's part of it. But the hotel rooms have gone up. I mean, everything's gone up. And the $10,000 you get for qualifying, I probably guarantee you by the time they drive there, they pay for the people working on the car, which are mostly volunteer, but they work for pretty cheap. You pay for the hotel rooms, the nitro, the rest of it, and you don't even start the car. That 10 grand's probably gone. So while the nitro being expensive is one thing, I think there's just so many other things in there that are way more expensive, like hotel rooms or tires are $2,500 for a pair of tires, and it's just not really set up for the smaller independent team that doesn't have a lot of sponsors. Helen and Peter kind of finance out of their own pocket. I think it's a good team. We could do better if we had some more money, but it's like a 2008 Monte Carlo body. So, and it's a chassis that was built in Australia. So it's not a McKinney or a Plug or anything like that. And what we've done with what we have, I think we have to be pretty proud of the accomplishment by everybody on our team.
Well, maybe my intel was bad, but didn't the shipping on these go up to like $700?
What's that?
Didn't the shipping on the nitro go up to $700?
Well, I'm not sure. Like, when we get nitro at the track, I think it's like $16.20 for a 43-gallon drum or 42-gallon drum. So, I mean, there are some things there, like, VP or, whoever it is brings the stuff to the track for you. You get it, and then whatever's left over, they transport to the track for you again. So is it a lot more money than, buying it somewhere else? Yeah, probably. But, a few $100 here or there, for a nitro team is something. But there's so many other things I think that come into play that make it very expensive to go to the races.
I mean, I think that's across the board, though. I mean, race fuel that we deal with up here in North Dakota. I mean, the price increase in just methanol. Methanol used to be, $160, $120 a barrel. It's up to over 260, 280 a drum now. I mean, I think we're seeing that across the board with racing in general. I mean, tires for the dirt track guys, tires are $140 a piece now. I mean, yeah. I think we're seeing it, and it's really starting to take its toll across the board. Now, I think with NHRA, it's a little bit different. You have the luxury of that trailer being there for you and someone bringing hey, I need fuel. They bring it over to your pit. Yep. So, I mean, it's a luxury, but at the same time, it could be a heartache too.
Oh, yeah. And they transport to the next race for you. I mean, they don't charge you for that. I mean, obviously, it's built into the price. But here's another thing. So, the Russos are here for probably a month from the time they got here till they go back after Phoenix, give or take a little bit. One rental car, like a minivan, $5,000. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, really, if you had a bunch of money, you just buy a minivan from somebody. You could probably sell at the end and lose $1,000 or $2,000 and be way ahead of the game. But the nitro obviously is a big deal, but it's a small part of the whole equation, from gasoline, diesel, hotel rooms, rental cars, airfare. It's kind of ridiculous now.
So, how glad are the Russos to get out of the big mess that is called Australian drag racing these days? That's got to be heartbreaking to them.
It is, and then them being stuck there. I mean, they were pretty well crying after I made that first run. Obviously, I don't get to see it because I made the run, but they were so happy. I mean, it's kind of being in jail for a couple of years. They get out and they get to go to the races, and we do really well. It's just a big whipped cream on the top of everything. But it's kind of amazing what happened there. But yeah, they were super, super happy, and it was a storybook weekend for us. Again, it's almost unheard of to qualify for a 20-car field with a low-budget car with it off early. So it kind of all came together, but we earned it. It didn't go like 450 in qualify. It went 409, and that's a respectable run.
Sure is. Jeff, look, thank you for popping in and cluing us in. Look forward to seeing you and the Russos at Phoenix for the Arizona Nationals. Enjoy the rest of the evening, man.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great show.
The jeweler,
Bobby,
back on the show.
We have you in lieu of Mr. Glen Cromwell, president of the NHRA. So we get the president of Competition Plus and owner, founder, establisher.
And don't mess this up. It's the first one. It's the first one of the year. Come on, Bobby.
I think it was an incredible race, and I have to tell you, we with the Phillips Connect and Vita C Shot live streaming from Phoenix, and then carry right into Pomona. I think the NHRA and its racers and its fans couldn't have asked for a better kickoff of the season. I think the racing was incredible. I for one don't think that Justin Ashely's win was anywhere remotely near an upset. I think he was a car to beat, even all the way back to Phoenix. You don't have to be the fastest car every time, but that car was consistent, brutally consistent. And I guarantee you, if they would have turned it into Top Dragster instead of Top Fuel, and he put a dial in on that car, he'd have won the bracket race. Argue with me on that?
The performance was great by that team. And, I mean, overall, Bobby, we got performance coming out of so many teams at the Winternationals. People like to pipe up and say, oh, fuel cars, only half of them make it down the track, blah, blah, this and that. No, they were all getting down the track for the most part, and it was some tight racing. That final round was a great example of it. The side-by-side run Friday night with Mike and Justin, what a spectacular qualifying session that was. I mean, just great all over.
Yeah, definitely. But I think from the get-go, you had to see that all the way through qualifying into eliminations. I think he planted his flag in the winner's circle long before that final round came around.
Well, he was my pick in one of my fantasy groups I'm in, that Justin Ashely was going to win it, and I wasn't surprised when he went on to win it. And I don't think it's any surprise that Austin Prock, first race out to say, makes it to the final round. And if he had won, it wouldn't have shocked me. I mean, the competition is going to be that close and that great this year. Definitely, what a great race we had in Top Fuel.
But if you guys look at it, I mean, you did say that that Justin's car was on a roll. I mean, first round he ran a 369. Second round he ran a 369. Then he slowed down a little bit and ran a 370, and then in the finals ran a 369. So yes, I mean, the car 100% was dialed on. But then when you look at Austin Prock, ran a 372, a 378, a 368 to squeeze by Brittany, and I don't want to say barely, but squeezed by Brittany, and then runs a 371 in the final round. So I mean, you look at it, both of those cars, and that's no diss to anyone. I mean, you've got two great crew chiefs sitting there dialing these cars in. They've put in the years, they've put in the work, they know. But I'm going to say this, Bobby. I made the comment that said it was a minor setback to a major comeback. The reason why I said that is because last year, if you look at what the Winternationals, aka the Summer Nationals, is what it should have been, because it was hotter than you know what out there. But look at what Justin did last year there. I mean, consistently a 370, a 369 car, right? The same numbers that he ran last year, the same numbers he's running, this year. only reason why I say that is look what happened in the final round. And if you're a man of faith or anything like that, God puts you in a position every day for something. He wasn't through. He said, you know what? I'm going to save this. And he saved it for a big time moment. So that's where that statement for me comes from, because I think this win is a little bit more meaningful than if he would have won it, last year during the Hot Nationals.
Absolutely. But you know what? I think that the seeds of this vine was created in Phoenix testing. I mean, that car was consistently so brutal on the first half of the track. So I'm telling you that is where the flag was being raised at right there. I think from Phoenix, you had to see this one coming.
Definitely. So, Bobby, from the perspective you have on many years in this sport and covering it, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of words, describe the 2022 Winternationals for us right here on the Competition Plus Power Hour, and where do you think it might stand in the analog of great races, or will it?
I think this ranks right up into top 10 of the last decade, if not one of the top 3. I think that this was so important. It was so important to the sport because, number one, we had to get rid of all these mandates that was keeping away fans from the birthplace of drag race in Southern California. People will argue whatever, but this is really where the birthplace of drag racing was, and because of stupid regulations, and I'm not going to get into the politics of it all, we started to see fans come out. But again, just because the camera pans down the track and you don't see people all jammed up together in the grandstands doesn't mean that there's people not there. I mean, after the pandemic and all, who wants to set up underarm hair to underarm hair with somebody after all that we've been through? No, they were standing 3 deep on the fence. I'm sure you saw that, didn't you? Saw the 3 deep on the fence. Well, you put those people in the stands and it's going to be packed. I know how packed it was every time I try to get through the pits to go to get quotes or get a story or get an interview. That's where we can tell how many people are there by having to make our way through the pits. And you know that, Lee. I mean, I saw you having to fight and wiggle through some people there.
Yeah, I would say definitely we're talking about an event when you put everything into perspective, and that's the key, perspective. That, I mean, just 2 days before, everything's lifted. I mean, who can plan for motels? Who's, all that kind of stuff. There was a great crowd there with everything considered. A great crowd.
Where'd Sam go? What'd you do with Sam?
He had to step out real quick.
Oh, okay. Funny car, another story. I don't think anybody could absolutely predict what Funny Car was going to be. I mean, it was such a toss-up. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, right there.
Let me see Sam. Come on, Sam.
I'm a magician. I pop in and pop right back out, baby. Woohoo!
But anyway, I think Funny Car, and to go to Sam's earlier point about Ron Capps, if I'm understanding correctly, during the off season you didn't hear much about him. Is that what I was hearing?
Yeah, I simply
explanation for that.
No, I don't. There's no explanation needed. I simply said that because a lot of people were focused on what Tony Stewart and Leah Pruitt Stewart, whatever. I don't really know.
Give me a minute here. Not necessarily. We all were chomping at the bit to write about it, but they had nothing, wouldn't talk about nothing. And, well, all you can do is like the 10 million stories talking about Tom Brady coming back this year. You can speculate. Go ahead.
And see, and that's the standpoint that a lot of people don't know about. A lot of people were talking about what was talked about, and like I said, Leah, Tony, Matt, Antron, and everything else that was going on. Everybody wanted to talk about that, but there was nothing for, like you said, the media, us, we the people, to say. So I think there's a lot of fans out there. There's a lot of fans out there that just were like, whatever. Like, it's Ron Capps. Like, whatever. Like, swept underneath the rug. But I'm saying I think that's why he was the most, overlooked person coming into this race weekend, because he wasn't the storyline of everyone's news article. He wasn't the Facebook post of what's going on. Ron did Ron this offseason. Ron took care of what he needed to. Ron, did what he needed to do. He made his funny Facebook post. He had his stuff going. But Ron took care of business, and a lot of people were like, oh, crap. I mean, I'm in a group chat with a few guys, that talk drag racing, and when they sit there and talk, one of the guys was like, man, I wasn't expecting this out of Ron, and the only thing I put was overlooked. I mean, some people just don't get it. Like, the guy's hardworking. He knows what he's doing. I mean, it's unreal what we have in drag racing right now as a whole. From funny car to top fuel to pro stock and every other class. If you think that this season isn't going to be one to cry home to mom about and tell her, Mom, did you know that this happened this week? Because I'm going to be giving you a whole lot of Shannon Sharp. Come on, man. This is the year.
The Ron Capps experience, or the Ron Cap.
Yes.
So if you saw the last Ron Capps experience, I said, do you ever wish that your name had been Ron Cap? And it'd be hashtag the Ron Capps experience. No. Look, guys, have you ever heard a more ceremonious divorce decree than you heard in the second round at Pomona?
Actually, you mentioning that, Bobby, and I know later on I heard you in the media room, like, asking for the quote or something. I never got to hear it because of the way, I work directly with, like, this past weekend, Foley Lewis and Buddy Holt. So there's some of those things I don't get to hear and don't get to see. So what was said?
Well, when Ron came out, he said after, I think it was 16, 17 years, which is a long marriage for a sponsorship, he said, they didn't want to go with me. So number one, you drew the conclusion, well, that's Dodge. Maybe I'll find a better manufacturer. And I'm like, oh, that's brutal.
Ooh. And
as my granddaughter would say, oof.
Right. And look, I really think there are definitely things already lined up, because the pool vehicle for the Phoenix Test and Pomona, what has it been?
It's a Toyota.
And then where is his merchandise being sold?
Well, there you go, with the Toyota drivers.
On the Fathead trailer.
It might be the worst kept secret since him going out on his own.
Right. It really might be, yes.
Dude, okay. So this poses another question, though. And a lot of people in the comments have said it. Toyota treats their drivers as world-class. Everything is top-notch. Are drivers noticing that and joining the team?
I think so.
Is Toyota saying, you know what? Hey, and this is a question that I've wanted to ask for a while, because, as you said, a lot of, like, bad-kept secrets going on out there. But is Toyota trying to make a powerhouse statement and saying, hey, guess what? We are going to be the super team of drag racing? I want to pose that question to you.
I think they got marketing down. I think they understand the science of what it's like. Work with the media, get your brand out there, get your name, get your message. I mean, the Toyota commercials, incredible. The one with Antron and JR and everybody. I mean, that was incredible. And then the short documentary on the Toyota. I mean, the super funny car. I'm telling you, I told JR Todd this. That super funny car looks.
Don't talk about me.
The Supra, not super. the super funny car might just be the prettiest and best looking funny car since Dale Pulde's 1985 Buick Somerset Regal Miller High Life Warrior.
Ooh, that is some high praise.
And it has
Ooh.
body
All right.
lines that are identifiable.
Yes, it does.
Bobby.
It does.
Bobby,
Yes.
we're always creating curveballs in the sport of drag racing, right?
Yeah.
We're always trying to innovate new things that happen that may go on.
Stop talking about it and throw it.
What if it's time for Bobby Bennett to sit in the hot seat and answer some questions?
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Bring it.
Without further ado, here we go.
Bobby.
I didn't know it was amateur night.
Oh man, I'm here for you, baby. Oh. First of all, I have to tell you, you lost so much weight. Look at you. You look so much skinnier on camera than in person. You really do. You lost a lot
He's
of
wearing
weight.
extra mediums.
How much? Yeah, really. How much weight did you lose?
41 pounds.
Oh my
41
God.
pounds, and I'm still working.
Congratulations.
Thanks,
You
sir.
look great. So Bobby, listen, you always do the interviewing. So I'm reporting live here from my bed. And I'm interviewing you. I'm serious. There's Mindy in her pajamas. Seriously. You can't make this stuff up. Seriously. So anyway, listen, Bobby, I always wanted to interview you. You're always putting people on the spot. Now it's my turn. It's our turn. First thing is, I want you to see this. New York Jets. This is what you have to look forward to. This is what you have to look forward to for your Tampa Bay now that Brady's gone. You're going to be competing for draft picks with us. That's what's going to be going on.
Tampa Bay with me at quarterback would still beat the Jets.
Yeah. So, Bobby, listen. First things first. I got a couple of questions for you. In all seriousness, you were innovative, the leader, really, thinking about it, in seeing the future, in starting an internet magazine, in starting competitionplus.com way back when nobody would even think about having an online magazine versus something in print. What made you think about doing that? A young Bobby Bennett, like what was that, 50 years ago? Because I know like right now you're like fossil age, but a young Bobby Bennett. What made you think of doing that?
Well, to be honest, I used to work at Superstock and Drag Illustrated magazine, and the guy that was the editor there at the time, he was really, you know what? I learned one thing in life: be nice to people. Just treat people nice. Even though I tell people to get off my lawn and get off my drag strip, all you have to do is be nice to people. And this person used to dog me out, used to beat me down, used to just continually throw stuff at me. Well, he decided he was going to start an online magazine. So he came to me and says, "Hey, Bud, I'd love for you to be part of our team." Yeah, we'll be just like the days at Superstock and Drag Illustrated. And I remembered how he dogged me out, and I figured, well, if this goofball can do it, how hard can it be? So I went and I put the plan in motion to start Competition Plus, which came up like 2 or 3 days after this person's website did. But even before then, I had started putting information up on the internet because there was nobody doing anything. We could get the news, we could see what was going on in Washington, D.C., but nothing for drag racing. So I said, how would it be if we had a magazine that could sit on our coffee table and magically reprint itself every night with the latest news? So there you go.
Wow. Good. Very good. You were ahead of your time.
Now, hold on. As an addition to that, the name Competition Plus.
Wait, I was just going to ask you that. Let me ask the questions. I'm doing the interview. I don't need you. Listen,
Well,
I ask the questions. You give the answers. I ask the questions. You give the answers. Don't make me throw you out of your own magazine now. I ask the questions. You give the answers. Okay? All right? Now, listen. I want to know, how did you come up with the name Competition Plus? It's a nice name. It's not a great name. You could have thought of something better, but how did you come up with that name? And what Competition Plus? What's behind that?
In 1987, I wanted to go to work for racing magazines, and nobody would give me a chance. It was like a catch-22. I'm like, "What? Can you give me a chance to write for you?" And they said, "Well, show me some work." I said, "Well, nobody give me a chance." "Well, go get somebody to give you a chance, and then you come back, and we'll give you a chance, maybe." Well, you know what? I got tired of this song and dance, song and dance, song and dance. So I went down to my local bank, North Carolina Bank and Trust. NCNB. Oh, North Carolina National Bank, sorry, which is now Bank of America. And I said, "I want to create a magazine. Will you loan me $1,500? So I borrowed $1,500 from the bank, and I started my own magazine. And it lasted eight months, had over 800 subscribers till I went broke.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, if I ever come back, if I ever get a chance to do another magazine, I'll make it Competition Plus, and I'll make it a success. And by the way, the first race I covered for the printed Competition Plus, there was a young gentleman running a Thunderbird called Knockout.
Talk about my car. Ha, ha, ha. But still, I don't understand the whole Bank of America story. It's very inspiring and all that stuff. But what does that have to do with the name Competition Plus? Why'd you come up where did you come up with that? It's not a great name, by the way. But where did you come up? It's a great name now because you made it a great name. But seriously, where did you come up with that name?
As an interviewer, you got to give me a chance to answer.
That's how this thing works. But you're dodging the question. You sound like Joe Biden. I'm not supposed to say that. Sorry.
This interview is about over with.
Yeah, come on. Let me hear it.
All right.
How'd you come up with the name?
Like I did most everything in my life. I pulled it out of my ass.
That's why it stinks. That explains it. No, it's a good name, Bobby. Seriously, you've done a great job. I want to ask you this question, and I'm serious about this. I've known you for many, many, many years. You are a goal setter. You are highly motivated. You fight through thick and thin. You know, you've taken on the biggest organizations, like when NHRA was big, NHRA. They've tried to, really cut you out at the legs at some point, which, this is not a knock on NHRA, but that's the facts, and you really fought for your right to be able to report the way you report, and to build what I think is a fantastic platform, extraordinarily impressive. What is your motivation? Like, where did you get that motivation from? What is your your driver? So you share that with us, because other people can apply that to racing, their racing program, other businesses, other things in their life. You're a true, ground zero success story from the beginning, a self-made person. Just tell us what is it inside of you? What was the driving force?
You guys got your tissues ready?
You got. Oh, by the way, you got 32 seconds. Okay, go.
I can't tell it. February 22nd, 1979. I was riding with my dad. I'll put us all on the same screen. I want to see your faces. I was riding with my dad out of the hospital, and my dad said, "Son, your mama's got the cancer." That's what he told me. And I watched that woman fight for every day of her life. They gave her at most 45 days to live. She actually beat the cancer. She beat it. Doing double chemo, double radiation. There wasn't much of her left. She was my rock. She was my fighter. Every bit of fight you see in me, you see my mom. And on August 5th, 1980, she went home to be with the Lord. Guess what she wanted to be? She wanted to be a writer.
Wow.
And
so
I became...
You're living her legacy.
I have carried her torch. Now, in 1979, drag racing took a kid that was watching his everything die. She was my everything. I loved my dad, but he wasn't my mom. And I watched her die every day. So you ask me, I get my work ethic from my dad, who only had an 8th grade education and quit school so he could support his family. 8th grade education. He had to go to live with it. His parents, my dad's parents, gave him away. How do
Wow.
you give your kid away? They put him on a train to go live with his grandparents. Now, my grandpa, he was a hustler and whatever. My great grandpa, he wouldn't work. So my dad had to quit school in the 8th grade and go to work to support my grandmother and my great grandfather's lazy ass. And he worked every day from the time I was a kid, 6 a.m. to 10 o'clock at night, every single day. And I can remember getting up in the middle of the night to go get water. And I saw his hands. He was a metal worker. He worked with metal and frames and stuff like that. And his hands had deep gashes all through them, like somebody took a knife and just went like that through them. And he told me, son, I want you to get a job where you don't have to work where your hands get cut like this all the time. And every time I tried to be a welder or a metal fab, he would push me away from it. And he was my biggest fan, and I was a big fan of his. And my mother, last words she told him before she died was, take care of my little man. So if you want to know what makes me me, I had two of the greatest parents in the world that I watched die from cancer.
Well, you know what, Bobby? That's a very inspirational, motivational story. It's very, very impressive. And I'm sure your parents are looking down proud, very, very proud of you, because you built an incredible online empire. And you know what? I'll say this about you, Bob, because I know you personally. People don't know this story. When my dad passed away, and he passed away suddenly, one day I opened my door, and who was standing there? And I live in New York. Bobby lives in North Carolina, right?
South Carolina.
South Carolina. Sorry, South Carolina. I opened my door. Bobby flew up just to give me a hug. How about that? That's the kind of person you're talking about when you're talking about Bobby Bennett. You want to talk about somebody who's, an inspiration and motivational and worked hard for every single thing he's gotten to live his parents' legacy. This is who Bobby Bennett is. He flew up when my father passed away just to give me a hug. I said, Bobby, what are you doing here? He said, I just came up here to give you a hug. I'm going home. I just came up here to see you. So you know what? That's the kind of person you're dealing with when you're dealing with Bobby. Bobby, we thank you because you've really evolved in some cases with the sport where many haven't, and in some cases leading the sport. You've evolved ahead of the sport. With Competition Plus TV, you were doing this years and years ago. With everything that you do with, the Legend Series, with your reporting, to pit reporting, to the pride you take in everything. We definitely salute you and appreciate you, Bob. You're doing a great job. So from one brother to another, we love you. You're doing a great job. I pick on you every once in a while, but that's what keeps you sharp, buddy. You know that.
Yeah, because I'm not going to hit you back like a brother.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to get off this interview now and let you guys go back to having fun. I wanted to just I thought Bobby deserved to be interviewed. He always does all the interviews. I think people should hear his story because he built this thing from scratch. It's literally, Bobby, how many followers do you have now? And what's just give us a quick rundown of your stats, and then because you started with, like you said, 800, made it to 800, and now you have how many daily visits from unique visitors? And tell us.
Well, the first night that competitionplus.com launched, September 15th, 1999, we had 100 viewers, 100 readers the first night, and now we get 100 in about 3 minutes.
Uh-huh.
So I mean, it's like, you hear all these guys boast and brag about their drag racing websites and all. Let me tell you something. I'm glad I could pave the way for you. Okay.
Yeah.
So when we went in to sell our first ad, I go in to sell an ad to a guy, and he said, how are you going to sell me an ad to a magazine I can't take to the bathroom with me?
Yes,
and I said,
just gotta take your phone.
One day it's going to be in the palm of your hand. He said, I don't believe this internet thing's going to catch on. So fast forward to 2000, I'm even broker than I was when I started Competition Plus. Let me tell you something. I didn't even have enough dust in my pocket to make lint. That's how broke I was. All right. So I go in to sell an ad to Mr. Gasket. And I sit down, and if you've ever seen Tommy Boy, you
That was
ever
you.
you ever see
Not gonna
that
take,
time when
yeah,
he
not gonna
melts
take,
down?
not gonna take no for an answer. He said no when you walked out and walked into the
Nope.
breath.
Nope. And I swear as God is my witness, this is how it went down. I flew all the way to Ohio to sell Mr. Gasket an ad with money I didn't have for a website I could barely keep afloat. And if you ever saw that movie Tommy Boy where he finally sold his first ad, you would have swore that is a carbon copy, because I went in there and he says, "What's the name of your company?" I said, Competition Plus. He says, "We might have a problem." And I'm like, what the heck? I never got in trouble for not selling somebody an ad. He says, "Well, Competition Plus is our name and it's trademarked."
Oh my God.
I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, I got to check with our legal." And I was so, Paul Trussell, who was then my business manager, was sitting beside me. And he looked at me, he said, "Where are you going with this, Vern?" I said, "That's just freaking great. You know that? That's just great. I got no money. I flew up here with money I didn't have. And now you're going to take the only thing I got away from me, my name. Well, that's just freaking great." And this guy's looking at me like, holy crap, this guy's going to pull out a gun and go postal on us. And I'm just like, you know what? I've worked my fingers to the bone. And up until I came in this office, I thought that I had a chance. And now you want to take my company away from me. Well, just take the freaking thing. And he looked at me and said, "Hold on, calm down, calm down." He says, just calm down. He says, "How much are your ads?" I said, $600, but it won't matter because I won't have a publication to put your ads in. He said, $600. I said, "Yeah. Okay, thanks for your time." And I'm getting ready to walk out. And he says, "I'll take the ad.
Yeah.
That's $600 a month, right?" And I said, "Yeah. Okay, yeah, we'll do a year. We'll sign up for a year. We'll see how it goes." And I looked over at Paul, and Paul looked at me, and he says, "Vern, I really don't know what to say now." I said, "So you're going to buy an ad for me? You're not going to take my name away?" He says, "They don't have to know about it, but I'll take the ad. You got your contract." Pull out the contract. He signed it. And from then on, when I had Mr. Gasket, then I gained Holly. Then I gained Mosier. Then I gained some of the bigger names. And I'm like, holy crap, what just happened here?
But Bobby, the moral of the story is everything is possible. You can't be afraid to dream. You can't be afraid to have goals. You got to go for it all the way. And you know what? When it's getting hot, when you're feeling the heat, when you're feeling it, that your toughest moment, you gotta have faith that God has a plan for you. And you're about to be, and when it's really, really hard, like it was for you at that moment, you're going to have a breakthrough. It's going to happen. It's just the way. You got to believe that. You got to have faith. And that's just what happened to you. And that's an inspirational story. So I think you should, like that. That's a good mic drop moment.
Or you can go in the corner and act like a honey badger and come out on him.
Yeah.
That's what I did. I went all honey badger on him.
Well, you did a great job, obviously. But Bobby, one last thing, and then that's it. Just keep it brief, okay? Because you're taking up too much time on my show here. Listen, at the end of the day, Bobby, listen, I'm serious. How many subscribers do you have on YouTube?
45,000.
45,000 subscribers.
That's organic. That's not advertising or paid for.
That's amazing.
Organic.
And what about Competition Plus? Honestly, the traffic. I just want to know in general, the daily traffic. So, I mean, because I think it's impressive.
15 to 25,000 a day.
Is that unique people that's visiting the site?
Yes, sir.
15 to 20.
I see the server bill.
Unique visitors. So, I mean, I think that's fantastic. Your Legend series, everything you've done is great. Huge value. You've been huge value to the sport. And you know what? We salute you, Bobby. We appreciate you. And your interview's over.
No, my show's not over.
Yours is. That's right. I'm over.
Felicia.
Oh, that's right. My interview's over.
Felicia.
My interview of your interview's over. Well,
click Felicia.
Sammy, I love you guys. I love you guys. I'm gonna go because I just before Bobby just cuts me right out. I'm gonna say goodbye. from my bed. It's past my bedtime anyway. It's 10 o'clock over here on the East Coast time. It's definitely like a half hour past my bedtime, right?
Right,
I'm
right.
Sleeping already.
4 a.m.
Mike,
Yes.
before you cut out though, you lost some shoes Sunday, didn't you?
Oh my God.
And he's gonna
This
lose
is
another
getting
pair
around.
this
This is
weekend.
getting
Little
around. I have to
Smurf
tell you the
shoes.
story. Oh
Like you
my
stole
God.
them off of Papa Smurf.
Oh my God. So I bought these cool blue shoes that I really loved because they matched Justin's new paint scheme. And I'm like, I really love these shoes. And everybody liked them. I think they did, or they were making fun of me. It's okay. But everybody liked them. And when I walked into the pit, Greg, who's like, Justin's whole team, of course, I'm biased, but, in my opinion, Justin's whole team is awesome. Like, these guys are like amazing guys. And one of them, this kid, Greg, is such a good guy. Like, he's the jokester, funny, great guy for culture because he's so hardworking, such a good kid. And whatever. He goes, hey, I love those shoes. I go, hey, win the race. I'll give them to you. So he's like, yeah, we're going to win this race. We're going to win this race. Well, he was standing next to me on the starting line. And when we won, we're jumping up and down. He goes, I won the shoes. I won the shoes. I won the shoes. He's going crazy like this up and down the starting line. And so by the time he drove down to pick Justin up, I went down on the scooter to see Justin. And he was still talking about the shoes. I actually literally took them off and I gave him the shoes. And Mark Rebellious actually took a picture of me handing him the shoes. And I'm standing there with my feet. It was freezing. My feet were freezing. So I'm like, I'm taking your shoes. He had like these oily, dirty Vans that they told me he has athlete's foot. Meanwhile, I put them on, which is fine. I don't care. What do I care? I really don't care. Whatever. I put them on and we switched shoes and he's got my shoes and he sent me a picture of them today. Like as he was driving in the truck on the top of the, on the dashboard of the truck with the Camping World hat, the blue Camping World hat and the blue shoes. So it's all good. I wish I could give shoes every race, after we win every race. So
Yeah,
I had a
toe out of them to put their feet in it. They had to cut the toe out.
I had a picture of those shoes. I had a picture of those shoes on Snapchat, pretty much from the top end. Then there was a picture in the winner circle, and I probably got 3 or 4 more today. So just saying.
There's always some kind of story with me. Always some kind of story.
Size 6.
That was my blue shoes. What can I tell you?
Got to cut the toe out of them to get those size 6 feet shoes on.
Oh, we size 6. What are you trying to say, Bobby? What are you trying to say?
All right.
I think we better end this interview before I ask you a few questions that are going to embarrass you.
Yeah. Right.
Hey, you can't embarrass me.
Right.
Yeah,
Mike,
yeah.
Thank you for making a guest appearance. It was enjoyable. Thank you for getting in depth with Bobby Bennett.
All right. We love you guys. Take care. Bye.
Love you too.
Bye.
Thank you. Oh man, sorry Bobby that we had to do that, but it was a great time. You haven't been on the show, and that was information that a lot of people I don't think knew. I mean, you went into a storyteller mold there, and you got to ask some personal questions, and that's what Competition Plus is all about, and especially what you're doing in a show like tonight. You're stepping in when some things didn't go as planned as we thought they were going to go for the show tonight, but I think it gave the viewers of your platform, Competition Plus TV, the viewers of the Power Hour, a different insight in who Bobby Bennett is. They don't always get to, see this side. They see the get off my track, Bobby Bennett, expressing directly how he feels, but tonight a different side of who you truly are.
Well, before y'all go thinking I'm all soft and everything, but one time I had an argument with one of the sanctioning bodies, and this is when they had a guy in there doing the media stuff out there. It was a real ass hat, and that's no offense to ass hats out there. And this guy, he was saying, this one doesn't get credentials, that one don't get credentials. And I walked up to him, I said, let me explain something to you here. All right? You go ask each one of these people, including myself, and you'll find that each one of these people has a story. They have a story, and that's why they're out here. They're not out here just because they got to see racing. They have a story that got them out here. You guys heard my story that got me out here. and that's what it's all about. And these guys that come in and think they're all good and they want to run everybody out and do all this and revolutionize. I learned one thing a long time ago. The toes you step on today are connected to the ass you'll have to kiss tomorrow in some way. They're connected by the same skin. So all you have to do is be nice. I've given a lot of people a chance because a long time ago somebody gave me a chance. And I always pay it forward. One day I won't be here. And I hope that the sport keeps paying it forward. And I hope that gentlemen such as yourself keep paying this forward. When you get to be the grizzled old veteran like me. God, do you know I was out here and people used to call me kid? Kid. I was on the starting line as a teenager. I had every reason not to make it out here. Every reason. But reasons don't measure the heart. That's what measures what's a champion. The heart. You people say, well, I don't like John Force. He's a loudmouth. You know what? He's earned that right. He's earned the right. The man come from broker than a church mouse, and he worked himself to the top of the ladder. So, okay, what if Robert Hite, John Force deal? You know what? Who cares? It's business, okay? It's a business out here. I don't particularly care for it, but it's a business. You mean to tell me you're going to cut your throat with a sponsor over principles? Fill one hand up with money, fill one hand up with the principle of a matter and see which one fills up faster, I know it's supposed to be another example, but what I'm saying is there ain't a person out there that wouldn't do what was best for their team. But yeah, all high and mighty, they'll go off on John Force or whatever. I got news for you. If I have a multi-car team and I got the team that's not even in the running for the championship and a team that has to win this round to win a championship, I'm not going to punch myself in the no-no region. Okay? And a lot of you, if you say you wouldn't, you're a liar, and you know it. Liar, liar, pants on fire. Tell me I'm
Took
lying.
it back to the old school days. Say that one in elementary school.
Yeah, when I walked uphill 5 miles barefoot in the snow to go to school. No, I didn't. I walked uphill barefoot to go to the arcade because I was skipping school that day.
Well, Bobby, like I said,
liar, liar, pants on fire.
Like we said, thank you for, just being open and honest today, letting Mike ask those questions and just telling your story. I think a lot of people that are watching tonight didn't know that, and now they have a different insight on who the man behind Competition Plus is and what the legacy and what the passion is. We can't thank you enough, but at this point, I think we're going to let you go. Thank you for your time here tonight. And we're going to go to a commercial. I don't know who.
Hold on, Sam. Sam. Let me make one point clear before I go.
Uh-oh.
Nobody makes me wait.
That's why we're going to let you go. But I don't know what.
Have a great show. I'm proud of you.
Yes. I don't know what Lee's got cooking and what he's about to jump up here on the screen for a commercial. But after this, we will have the Top Fuel winner of the Winternationals, Mr. Justin Ashely.
Not the upset winner.
As we let the boss of Competition Plus go, We'll remind ourselves of Competition Plus apparel and definitely transition before we get stuck.
Get your CompetitionPlus.com apparel today. Whether it's our nitro-burning funny car design or the vibrant door slammer design, we have the swag to show you are always in the know. Get yourself a hat too. And we know not everyone enjoys wearing a mask, but if you must wear one, at least wear a good-looking one. Check out the new CompetitionPlusApparel.com for the latest from the place where you have trusted for your news on the internet for over 2 decades.
Somehow, Justin, we have got to you.
Somehow, that's a difficult act to follow, boys, but I'm here.
Yes. Did you happen to lose any shoes over the weekend? I'm just curious.
No, thankfully, I have mine. I brought 2 pair with me to make the trip to California, and I left with both my pairs of shoes with me. My dad, on the other hand, as you heard, lost a pair out there, but for good reason. Yeah.
Are you going to be betting any shoes in Arizona? I guess that might be a new trend in drag racing. You guys might be trendsetters, you know?
Well, you didn't hear, Sammy? No, I don't bet my shoes. I bet my father's shoes. That's all. I could do that, right? I mean, that works. So anytime we win a race, maybe even win a round, my dad can give away his pair of shoes to someone on the team. Right. So maybe we'll play around with some ideas we got there.
That's the trend. It's his shoes, not your shoes. And give them away. And yeah, whatever y'all start, just never do the F1 thing when you drink out of the shoe. Just don't do that, please, in a celebration.
I wouldn't even trade shoes. Like, I'm such a germaphobe like that. Like, I don't like feet. I like the shoes. I've seen a lot of pictures of the shoes. Thanks, Greg. But I don't know. You put your feet in those, you can have them. They're yours.
Yeah, for
Justin,
sure.
You are the next level. Keep growing. And kicking abs. I like that. Kicking abs. It's got a ring to it. But Justin, man, I said this earlier on the show, and I text this to you earlier this week too. But a minor setback to a major comeback. Describe what this whole weekend, felt like. As the last time you were there, things kind of played out a little bit differently for you, Was there a weight on your shoulders coming back to Pomona? Was anything a little bit different for you?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. And to be honest with you, the last NHRA Winternationals is pretty much history for me. I really haven't thought about it very much since it happened. I came to this race with a chip on my shoulder because I always have a chip on my shoulder. I want to win because I love to win, and I love winning for our Davis Motorsports team. That's it. It doesn't matter the circumstances that surround the event or anything that's going on outside of what we have going on in our pit. But, with that being said, it was a little bit difficult to kind of escape that notion this weekend. I had a lot of media asking about it, a lot of fans asking about it. So it was nice to be able to go back, be able to kind of conquer that racetrack, if you will, and get after it there and run as well as we did for our team, for our sponsors. And we ended up going up there in the final round in that same lane that we were supposed to be in last time, the left-hand lane, except this time take care of that unfinished business and just collect that Wally for Vita C Shot and Phillips Connect and all of our awesome sponsors. We loved it. We loved every minute of it. And, just really feel privileged to have had the opportunity to do it.
Well, Justin, it's great to see that your backdrop is filling up with your short career already, and there's wins. I remember when interviews early on, it was just like blank wall, and now there's Rookie of the Year. There's 3 Wallies there, Slim's art, and a couple articles. And look, I'm sure we're going to be seeing soon Dan Fletcher level wins and trophy case in the NHRA. This one special has to be with what you just mentioned, but with your sponsor, Jim Epler, to like the day, 30 years, his win at the Winternationals and brand new partnership. All in all, huge day for you, your team. And then, I asked you in the media center, it was a win for the sport. You got it done, man.
Yeah, it was great. You hit it on the head, Lee. It was a win for the sport. The place was packed out Saturday and Sunday, and I love to see that. I love to see the fans come out in droves and interact and engage with drivers like us. and it was an absolute blast. But this was a huge win for our team. I'm so grateful to Jim Epler, to Rob Phillips, to Dave Phillips, to Amber White, and everybody at Phillips Connect for giving me the opportunity to represent such a great brand. They have a special company. They've built a very special culture over there. And, I feel fortunate to be the one who gets to bring them into the NHRA community, because we know what a great community NHRA is and what a great platform they offer for companies. And to be able to bring Phillips Connect in and collect a win, their first race being involved with the team on the 30th anniversary of when Jim Epler won the NHRA Winternationals. I mean, it's just amazing to think that he was there. We're able to enjoy it, Jim and I, together with the rest of the Phillips Connect team. I mean, it's like right out of a movie. It's a movie script. I think we probably had the biggest winner circle in NHRA history. I mean, it was crazy with the amount of people that were there. So really just an awesome, awesome weekend. Not only a win on the track, but a win off the track too for our entire team.
No, and I mean, that's what it's about. But, with your crew, your dad touched about it a little bit when he was on the show here a few minutes ago, saying that your crew is hardworking, down to earth, and you guys like to have fun, but you guys know when the business needs to be taken care of. What does it mean for you to have the owner of your, team out there, going through it with you guys? I mean, he's got literally the hottest job on the car every weekend. You've got a guy like Greg doing the bottom end. You've got a guy like Austin, on the top end, and then his dad helping out. Like you guys are more than just a team. You guys are a family. So when you get to share these moments with them, how does that feel?
Yeah, it feels really special, guys. I mean, in this sport, it's very difficult to, toe that line between having fun and making sure that you treat it as business. And as long as you can find that line and dance between that line, you're going to be in good shape. And I think our team has done a fantastic job of going out there, taking care of business, but at the same time, having fun doing it. And I think so that's part of what makes this group special. I mean, Dustin Davis, you said it right. He's an owner of the team. He's out there working on the clutch. He's probably the dirtiest guy in the pit area, one of the hardest working people in all of NHRA. You've got guys like the Arnridge family. You've got Ryan Worth. You've got Greg Lynn. I can go up and down and name all the guys on the team, Justin Covarrubias, Jeff Occasion. I mean, up and down, this team is just fantastic. And to be able to race with a team like that, that's more than just a team. They're a family. Really makes this just that much better. And really, I think that we've created something very special. Dustin Davis has created something very special with the culture that he's built within our organization. And, you want to win it for your team. You want to win it for your family, because that's what it's all about.
So the media, fans, and many teams drivers have been mentioning and hyping up 2022 to be one of the best and most competitive years in Top Fuel. One event in, you look at drivers' reaction times, you look at qualifying, you look at race day. You as a competitor within it and winning it, do you feel that just one off season that things have stepped up in NHRA drag racing, in particular Top Fuel?
Oh yeah, for sure. This is going to be the best field we've seen in a very long time. You have to be on your A game always. There's no room, no time to let up at all for a driver or for a team. You've got a lot of full-time cars. Just honestly, when you look at it, you had the 10 full-time cars that made the countdown last year. Then you have Josh Hart, who's running a full-time schedule. You have Tony Schumacher and Austin Prock, who are both back. In addition to that, you have what you want to call part-time cars that could very easily win rounds or very easily win races when they're at the racetrack, whether it's Doug Foley, Buddy Hull, Krista Baldwin, and so many others that will constantly give themselves a chance to win races. So this is not going to be easy. You saw during the first race of the season how close these races are and how good you actually have to be and how consistent you have to be to just give yourselves a chance to win and put yourself in the conversation. So to be able to come out with a win, I guess, feels even that much better knowing how tough this season is going to be. But you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with. And Phillips Connect, Vita C Shot, Auto Shock Ricardo, Toyota, Lucas Oil, they support us in what we do and have helped us assemble this super team to be able to go out there and put up those kind of numbers and be able to compete and win races at this level.
And just to take a second here, I'm going to try and pull up this picture here for you, Justin. And I know you've seen it. This picture right here. You've got your whole team standing at the starting line. You've got Austin and Greg jumping up. Everyone's hands are up. But Mike Green, everyone just happy to have that consistent car, to have that car going up and down the track at 369, 372-ish every round. You've been doing that since testing in Arizona. What does that mean, and what does that feel like for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, that means the world. As a driver, that's one thing you don't get to see, right, is the reactions from the starting line. So that's one of the things that I love to do when we win rounds and win races, go back and look at the video or look at the pictures from the starting line. And that just puts the biggest smile on my face, because you think about all the work that those guys put in at the racetrack, and that's one thing. And it's incredible what they do. But then how about all the work they put in the offseason to even get the car to the racetrack? It's like that's 90% of it is working on the race car and getting it there and focusing on the business side. The other 10% is actually racing. So to be able to see all that hard work come to fruition so early on in the season for our team is really just fantastic. It's an amazing feeling, not for me, forget about me, but for the team, because they deserve this win. I feel like every race we go to, they deserve to win, because they're constantly doing everything they can to put us in a better position, to be proactive, to improve. And you saw the results. You saw the results early on the season so far, but it's a marathon. It's not a sprint, and we got to keep at it, and we know that.
So once again, congratulations on the win there at the NHRA Winternationals. For people that are highly competitive and overachievers, though, oftentimes there is a sense that I could have even done more, even when it seems like perfection was accomplished. So, similar to what I asked you at PRI and not getting that lowest average reaction time, it being snatched away, do you feel that you could have even had a little bit better performance at the NHRA Winternationals and iced it that much more, or did you leave everything out there, man?
Of course I could have improved. You can always improve, right? You can always get better. That's why my ears are always open. I'm always trying to learn, always trying to listen to what people are saying and get better. I could have absolutely performed better at the Winternationals. I think back to things that I could have done better. I was happy with my performance, and I know that I left everything out on the line, but nonetheless, there's always things that I can improve on. And, for those of you who are hanging around the pits, you might have seen me talking with my dad frequently throughout the weekend, just talking about some things on the starting line, some things that I was experiencing as I was going through the run, just to try and gain as much knowledge as possible and then sort through it and apply it on the racetrack. It's not one of those deals where, I just go to the racetrack and after I grab a nice big steak dinner and go to bed. I'm thinking about it. I think about it all night. I let it marinate. I think about ways that I can improve until I get back to the racetrack the next day. So good, bad, and different. I love what I do, and I want to continue to get better for my team and help our team win races, because that's what it's all about. We're one big family, and we got to help each other.
And that's what it's all about, Justin. I'm actually trying to pull up a picture here because we like to have fun on this show. Last week I posted it, and you saw the picture there on Instagram of you at testing holding a tape measure, and it said, "What is Justin Ashely doing?" Lee, being the great guy he is and the great person, and always thinking positive, said you were trying to get every inch for a new marketing partner on there, but I now have the opportunity to ask you, even though I took that picture jokingly, your team was giving you crap, do you know what to do with a tool? You're like, guys, it's a tape measure. What was Justin Ashely doing at that point with that tape measure?
Everyone's shocked. It's like they saw me with a tape measure and the world was going to just drop and suddenly stop spinning. I mean, right? Like, so I'm the first one. I'm not, I say, I'm not the most mechanically inclined person, right? I don't know the most about that stuff. I strongly believe in specialized knowledge, right? And mastering what you do and do the very best you can at that specific job and that specific task. With that being said, Lee kind of hit it right on the head, right? I was doing everything I could to measure that size of that mud flap to make sure that the decal that we had on there, which was Vita C-Shot, took up as much space as possible. We still have some adjustments to make there, but that goes back to Chip Lofton. I want to make Chip Lofton as happy as possible, and part of that is giving him as much real estate as I can because of everything that he's done for me. So simply, guys, it was on my mind. Took that tape measure out, measured the mud flaps. Wanted to give Chip Lofton all that he's given me. That's the very least I could do. So I did do some measuring there for the new decal.
See, Sam. See,
Justin. You can't make him always right because then I don't hear the end of it.
You know what it is, Sammy? I just realized now that I'm thinking about it, I had a really great opportunity to tell you I was doing something super complicated that I really have no
you
idea.
should have.
Right.
I would have been like,
I took advantage of the opportunity, but
you should have.
No, and like I said, I mean, that alludes to what your team is and who they are. You know, everyone can give each other crap and everyone can do that. But I have to ask a question now for you having Mike Green as your crew chief. You know, did we give Mike a little bit of crap during the test session when he's got his dress shoes on and his shorts? Yeah, of course. You know, take full responsibility of those opportunities. But to have him, you know, to have you this dialed in already, to have him have this car doing what it's doing, how does that feel for you knowing when you strap into this car, man, this guy's got me a rocket?
Man, it feels great. And there's really, you know, two parts to that equation. The first thing in driving with Mike is safety, right? I know everything that he does, he's going to put me in a position where he believes I'm at the safest in that race car, which gives me tremendous peace of mind. And number two, obviously, is performance. And we know what a great, excellent championship-winning crew chief Mike Green is, right? He is fantastic at what he does. He's great from a driver's perspective. He's an absolute pleasure to work with. And I think communication between us is key, and it goes very well. And I absolutely love driving with him. We've also added Tommy DeLago. Let's not forget about him and that dynamic. He brings an excellent energy to the team, and he's super aggressive at what he does. And he absolutely loves what he does, and he's passionate about NHRA and drag racing. So working with Mike Green, working with Tommy DeLago is an honor for me as a young driver to work with championship-winning crew chiefs who are championship-winning crew chiefs on the track, but off the track too. And the reason I say that is because they're such good individuals. They're such good people. And I've learned so much already from them about how to represent myself on the racetrack, how to drive better in the race car, and just perform as a driver and as a businessman. And I love it. I love working with those two.
Those two tune on the car, get it where it gets you down the track and turn win lights on. We have already heard from WFO earlier today with your appearance on there talking about the car. You mentioned new car. Is it new to you? Is it brand new overall? Like first testing passes were at Phoenix? And talk to us about this arch. You have the most arching car out there right now of anybody. It is insane, dude.
Yeah, that is a really cool shot right there. So you'll see there the car is arching, and it arched a lot all weekend, really, since we started in testing. And you'll see too, if you watch any video from the race, that it carried the front end quite a ways down the track. And I think that's really great. It's really exciting for the fans. You know, it's just really nice to see. It's a nice change of pace. It is a brand new car. So this car was built by Don Schumacher Racing. It was brand new chassis. We picked it up in the off season, did the electrical, plumbed it, you know, made it the way we wanted to make it. And the first time we broke it out was in testing just a few weeks ago. And, you know, we were due for a new car. I'm thankful that we were able to get one. And I think you see the results immediately. And, you know, between that flexing of the chassis and between the way it seems to carry the front end right now, I don't know if it's going to last forever, but I think it's pretty cool for the fans, and the car's running really good right now.
It definitely is, man. It looks cool. It does. And you definitely got a rocket ship. It's definitely noticeable. I think maybe some last year definitely would have said, okay, they have a consistent car, but can they go down there and throw up a low ET and a high fast mile per hour? And I don't think there's any question now. You're definitely able to do that. And it's going to be a slugfest with the Britneys and the Procs and the Salinas' and yes, the Torrances.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a slugfight. It's going to be a fight all year, guys. Let's face it. I mean, every race you go to is going to be a hard race to win. You know, I'm thankful first and foremost that we're there competing against the best in the world. All these guys are great. I can go up and down. Look across the other trailer for me and Antron Brown. That's a 3-time world champion. And we got people talking about Steve Torrance and Brittany Force. What about Antron Brown? That dude is, in my opinion, one of the best, if not the best top fuel driver to ever do it. He is just fantastic. And when you go up and down that list and look at the top fuel field, it is going to be tough. That's why I feel good. We have to focus on us, because if we don't, none of that other stuff matters. We have to always do our very best and be the best version of ourselves that we can be. And our Phillips Connect team was on it all weekend long at Pomona, and we have to continue on that trend each and every race.
Yes, I mean, for sure. People are asking, when are diecast going to be available of that car? I mean, it's a good looking car. Like it's very different. It's very unique. I like it. So just saying, if you are going to do a diecast of it, don't forget about some people.
I gotta play around with the idea and look into a few things. I'll speak with Amber and Jim from Phillips Connect. We're thinking on that note of coming out with a little bit of a joint hero card, something with our picture of our Phillips Connect dragster on it, and then a picture of Jim Epler's funny car when he went over 300 miles per hour on it too. So we're thinking about some really creative marketing things that we can do. I think a die cast would be really cool as well of this car. I think this car is the perfect blend of professional and corporate, but also has its own like flavor and tune to it, which I think is nice to see. So we'll speak with the folks at Phillips Connect and see what we could do. I think a die cast, would be really cool to do in the future if at all possible.
Yeah,
Sam,
definitely. What's up?
We need to know, why wasn't Justin Ashely hung over with horsepower?
Yeah, that was some commercial, right? Let's face it, guys. How good is Antron Brown? Is he he not the best? Is he not amazing? He's legitimately good, right?
I mean, I think if he wasn't driving professionally, he'd be acting or be a comedian. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that dude.
The guy's good.
He's good. So that commercial was absolutely hilarious. And we've been doing some stuff now with Toyota moving forward, right? I am fortunate to have the opportunity to work with Toyota and Toyota Racing and Toyota Gazoo North America this year. And we're working on a bunch of different marketing things, some interviews, some fun projects that we're doing that hopefully will come out here in the near future. So that will be fun. I'm grateful to have the opportunity to participate in that with all of Toyota's drivers. So that'll be an absolute blast. I think they do a great job of marketing their drivers and being there to support their drivers. I already feel I've only a few weeks into being a part of the Toyota family, but when they say it's a family, it really is. So it's really awesome to be able to represent such a great company that's all about high performance like Toyota, and just looking forward to continuing that relationship and furthering that relationship, and absolutely loved putting in the winner's circle them for the first official Toyota Gazoo North America racing event.
So, I mean, you brought it up, and that was my next question is the Toyota experience. And I think that's the best way to describe it, because we've seen how Toyota has moved forward in other sports. The experience now that Toyota is installing in drag racing. Give us some dynamic there. Give us a little bit of insight on how you think that will innovate the sport, how it will grow the sport and draw more people to it.
Well, I think, Sammy, I think you saw it there, right, with the hungover on horsepower commercial. I think that they do a really good job of putting their drivers in the mainstream media, which is critical. It's really important, right? People within the NHRA community tend to know each other, but we want to reach outside the NHRA community. I think that's a fantastic thing that Toyota does, is their marketing team works to get you in the mainstream media and also really gets you as a fan to know the drivers on more of a personal level, whether it's asking them personal questions, asking them fun questions, engaging questions, getting them involved in different projects, even simple things like Saturday in Pomona, at the Toyota display, we had an autograph session. Simple, but that gave us an opportunity to speak with fans, engage with fans, talk to them. So it's all those things that they're being proactive about, that they're doing, that are going to help put their name out there. They're going to help people come and buy cars from them, but they're also going to help get their drivers out on the forefront, that I think is really important for the sport. And I absolutely love what they're doing.
You speak of that engagement with the fans this past weekend. In accordance with your alliance with Antron Brown, there was a big step up in the hospitality realm. So I've got to ask, what were those duties like for you in, pressing some flesh and kissing babies on a much larger scale? What was it like in between rounds and on Friday and Saturday for you?
Yeah, it was a blast. I would say Friday was probably the busiest day of them all, but I did have an opportunity Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to spend some time with the guests at the hospitality area, walk around, talk to them, engage with them, spend some time together. Friday, we had a big, I would call it a media event in our hospitality area where people really got the first look at the Phillips Connect Top Fuel Dragster. I was able to introduce myself to the Phillips Connect team and business associates that were there. Rob Phillips, the CEO of the company, was on hand. Dave Phillips was on hand. Amber White, Jim Epler was there to speak. So that was a big event that we had in the hospitality area. And then throughout the event, businesses were able to get deals done. And I think that's important, just to use that as a platform to offer opportunity for businesses to talk, to engage, to see if there is an opportunity to either work together at the present time or in the future. That's the benefit of having the hospitality area. And I really have to thank Lucas Oil. I really have to thank Antron Brown for helping to put all of that together to offer our sponsors the opportunity to really utilize it and take advantage of it. It's there for a reason. So this was a new experience for me, the first time we ever used the hospitality area, but I can already see from a business perspective, not only how professional it looks, but how advantageous it is, not only for our program, but our sponsors and our partners as well.
And I think that's what it's all about, right? You're growing, you're moving forward with the partnership there that you have with Antron Brown, the joint team effort that you guys have there. I just think that it shows, in the direction you guys are going, in the direction that Antron Brown has as now a team owner, and just being a mentor for you and what your team and what your group is doing. But like I said, you guys are doing great things. You guys got that card dialed in. And I'm excited to see what Top Fuel has in store for this year, because last year I think the biggest topic was funny car and who's going to be the next winner, or who's going to double up, or who's going to do what. And I think you started off with a big statement, and it says this Phillips Connect and Davis Motorsports team is not to be taken lightly, and we are here to party.
Yeah, you're right. I think we were able to make a statement, but let's be honest, guys, this is not going to be easy. You can go up and down the list, and I can tell you drivers and how good they are and how good their teams are. This is going to be tough. It's going to be a year-long battle, and I have a feeling it's going to come down to Indy, whoever gets those final few spots of the countdown, and then it's going to come down to Pomona, who's ever able to clinch the championship. And it's tough out there. You can't take anybody lightly. So that's why, as a group, we have to focus on us and just leaving it all out on the line every race, being the best version of ourselves that we can be, and let the points be what they are, let the results be what they are, but at least know that we went out there, we left it all on the line, and you're only as good as the people you're surrounded with. And, I feel like we really have the best. I know that we have the best.
Mentioning people, this is my last question for you, by the way. Antron being out earlier in the day, you're in the finals. Was it just a Green Delago brain trust, or was it a super brain trust of Karate and Oswald, Delago, and Green all melding minds to look at the data and to get that tune up and send it out there on the track? Is that how the alliance worked, or were they just an observation from Antron's team? What did it look like?
Well, let me say this, guys. They are always talking. Those crew chiefs are always talking with each other throughout the weekend and throughout the week, during the race and before the race and even after the race. I will say this, that as soon as we won second round, I was up in the lounge with Mike Green, and Brian Karate came in and said, "Hey, Mike, I got 2 guys outside for you. You need them. They're waiting out there. If you guys need an extra help, you need an extra hand." Boom, there's that. I roll up for the semifinals, sitting there, no big deal, not thinking about it. Starter tells to fire up. I'm waiting for the signal. And who's in front of me? Antron Brown. He's literally standing there just blocking the sun for me. So I don't have the sun in my face for no reason other than just being the teammate and being the guy that he is. And he was right back up there in the final doing the same thing over again and right back in the pit. The guys were waiting to lend a hand and help out. So that's the benefit of this alliance, is knowing that we are better together than we are apart. I absolutely love working with Antron Brown, Brad Mason, Mark Oswald, Brian Karate. That team, they do such a great job, and they are part of our family. We are one big family. When one of us wins, we all win. So we're going to be there to support each other no matter what. And you saw it here this weekend.
That's awesome. And, just like you said, to have that alliance, to have that helping hand, to have two more hands, four more hands is exactly what it's about. And, we talked about it earlier in the show, and I mentioned it. You guys had a bracket card. Draxter Jeff is saying the same thing there. So we're looking forward to what you are going to do in the sport, what you have done in the sport. And what we saw this weekend was two younger guys that are going to be the face of Top Fuel, hanging it out there on the final round in Top Fuel.
Well, if I'm going to be the face of Top Fuel, you guys better be the face of the new young media. That much is for sure. So I really appreciate all that you guys do. You guys do an amazing job.
Well,
Appreciate that, Justin.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Gus Lee and I are going to have to get yoga pants.
Ooh, no.
Well, Justin, you've had a long day with interviews and questions, but thank you for your time coming on again to the Competition Plus Power Hour, where you always have a home. Your dad has made it very known that he will crash the party at any time.
Yeah, he's
and
made
we
it.
Appreciate all. We will always appreciate you guys and what you are doing in the sport. So thanks again, and congratulations on the first Wally of 2022.
Thank you, guys. Anytime. I appreciate you having me on. You guys are absolutely awesome. Have a good rest of the night.
You too. Thank you, Justin.
You too.
We'll see you, Phoenix.
Classic car owners, make your headlights over twice as bright with Holley Retro Bright LED headlights. A plug-in replacement for those dim halogen seal beams, Retro Bright maintains that classic look and lasts 6 times longer. Stay safe and click the link below to learn more.
All right, slamming. Sam, we've had a slamming of a show for sure. Guest appearance with Mike Ashely and diving deep on Bobby Bennett's story, talking with the winner of the NHRA Winternationals that lived up to all the hype for 2022, rolling us into the rest of the year. Good show, man. We're not done. We've talked a little bit about the overall of the Winternationals. Anything else that you want to touch on from the Winternationals?
Man, you and I talked about it a little bit ago about, the lifting of restrictions there with COVID, and people saying stuff about the, there wasn't that many fans. Like, come on, guys. Like, why do we have to continue to beat the horse on its head? Like, why do we have to continue to beat the drum that just is not in tune? Like, we have to get over that. We have to.
Right. And I will say, I think we may very well, to some degree, be preaching to the choir. I think we've had a very positive chat tonight, which has been great to see and experience. But look, there was a good crowd at Pomona. With everything considered, there was a good crowd. I was there for the last 2 races before COVID, 2019 and 2020. 2019, the finals, 2020 for the Winternationals of that year. And I've seen both sides have plenty of people. All right. I've seen both sides have plenty of people. And what you saw since that time, it's due to COVID. Sam, you know as well as I do, you have family out here. You've spent time out here beyond the races. There is just a different mentality out here in California. I see more mask wearing in California than I have my whole entire Great Western road trip. And I've been in every state.
Lee, I plead the fifth. I'm not answering that question.
You're not answering that question.
I'm not going. No, I'm not. Yes, I've been in California a lot in the last 2 years. I plead the fifth. I'm not answering that question. I just think that we move on. We continue to grow. We continue to look past a few things that some people are yet still holding on to. I'll just do that. There, you can gather what I'm saying. But I just think we move on. People can say what they want. I think another thing that happened is that the restrictions got lifted, a couple of days before the event. So there weren't that many people. And you know what? It's your choice. And I'm all for you guys. It's your choice. If you don't feel comfortable going out, don't go out.
Yes.
If you don't feel like it's the right thing for you to do to go to an event, that's fine. But I'm going to ask you to do something. Instead of not going, instead of having a ticket and not showing up or wanting to go, but you don't feel it's right for you, give someone else that opportunity. It's exactly what Bobby was talking about on the show today. Give someone else the opportunity to experience what you know or experience what you've experienced. And I think that's what we need to do. Moving forward, if you can't go, try and help someone else get there. Let's continue to build this culture of what drag racing is. Another thing, I tuned in and watched things, and I, with NHRA TV and all the different things we have. But Monday morning, I get on Google, and the first thing on Google, I think I'm going to try and find the screenshot here on my
you're
phone
talking
if
about
I
the
can.
Erica Enders and Tony Schumacher articles, right?
Yes, articles. We have articles on drag racing. I think I deleted them already. Maybe. I don't know. Let me see here. Hold on. I'm going to find it. But Google is talking about drag racing. Like, what? Here it is, right here. I don't know if you guys can see that. But Google, Erica Enders and Tony. That's what it's about. That's what we need to be talking about. Who cares if we're talking about people that want to wear masks and we're talking about people that don't want to show up to a race? That doesn't matter. When Google, when LA Times, when the LA News is coming out to the drag race to interview people, think about how many people are in Los Angeles County. It's unreal. There's traffic at 2:00 in the afternoon for no reason on a Tuesday. No reason at all. There's 6 lanes of traffic going south, and there's 6 lanes of traffic going north. There's 6 lanes of traffic going east and west, and there's traffic. There's too many people in LA. Too many. Trust me. I grew up in that area. Grew up in San Diego and LA. My father and them lived in LA. I grew up in San Diego. There's too many people. There's traffic. When they're talking about what's going on in drag racing, when Google, the second and third article on Google for me was drag racing, that's important. That's the stuff that we're talking about. That's the stuff that we need to be doing. Just like Drag Racing Central was talking about. The first article was not about the Daytona 500. But the second article was about drag racing. The third article was about drag racing. Come on. Why do we have to talk about the stuff that we already know? Yes, California is a way big different. I mean, I grew up there. I graduated from high school from California. But if we had new oceanfront property, I wouldn't be mad.
So, Sam, Drag Racing
I told you
Central
don't get me on this rep. Don't get me on this
making a good. He's making an interesting point. He's making a good point. So I talked to Amanda Busick earlier today, and I asked about why was this TV broadcast so late for the East Coast? Because that's one of the other negative comments and Nancy, the Debbie Downers are saying about the late broadcast. So I asked her about it, and she explained it this way. Well, one, this was a rare time that the Daytona 500 and the Winternationals fell on the same day. I think that is mainly due to the NFL adding more playoff games, and it pushed the Super Bowl back, and it made everything tighter, especially for Los Angeles, because Clash, Super Bowl, Winternationals. You have pretty much a tapped out area right there, no matter how big it is, with some huge events. But she said that one of the reasons why there's a late broadcast was because of a block of time left for NASCAR on FS1 if they needed it due to a rain delay, which makes complete sense when
Or
you
a
think
crash.
about it. Now,
Or a crash.
Drag Racing Central, what he is mentioning here, and Amanda mentioned to me, and I didn't know that because I didn't get to watch the Daytona 500, and I didn't get to watch the NHRA broadcast being there at Pomona. We were mentioned, and we were, I would even say maybe possibly celebrated on the NASCAR broadcast with an interview with Tony Stewart that actually was showed at Pomona from the stands. And like with 18 laps to go, you've got Fox mentioning, hey, don't forget about NHRA drag racing at the Winternationals in Pomona. So that is definitely good. Might have been a late broadcast, but those are some good things. I highly recommend all of you, if it was late, if you haven't seen it, there are several re-airs, I believe even more than normal, and there is one coming up that was very favorable time-wise. Just go check the FS1 schedule, and you can see the re-air times. Sam, another thing I want to mention about the race, and it goes back to something that I'm obviously passionate about because it was my home national event, but Atlanta, it was sold. It's already been put to blade, to what I understand. No more Southern Nationals at Atlanta Dragway. Well, why was it sold? It was sold for money to go back into the other properties of the NHRA. And I said here, even on this show, and I've said it on my show, Between the Slicks, that as long as I see improvement to the NHRA product and facilities that Atlanta was sacrificed for, I can be happy with what happened. And I sit on this show and I can say that I am a bit more happy about what happened because some of that money was put into that surface, and that surface produced stellar racing at Pomona to the point where we saw well into the 60s with Top Fuel dragsters, 80s from the funny cars, and many of the funny car drivers said we no longer have a one-lane racetrack at Pomona, but two competitive lanes. I can live with that.
And that's what we need to do. Like, and Lee, I know you see it. You see the bigger picture. And I'm going to make kind of a joke here at you, but I know you understand it, especially with those glasses. You can see the bigger picture because you have wide lenses on. That's a camera joke for you guys that don't get it. That's not a personal attack at Lee's swag because I kind of happen to like it. But that's just me. So I'm going to say this. When you look at both sides of the spectrum, we're losing tracks, right? And you said this, Lee. But if it's going to better our racing, if it's going to better what we are doing and improvements, I'm okay with that. If we continue to grow, I'm okay with that. That's the one thing that we have to look at here. We can talk about fans in the stands. We can talk about this. But when the race day performance, when the product that we're doing because we're in the entertainment business is better for we the people that enjoy it, we the people that cover it, we the people that just love the sport, when it's better for that, that's what it all means. When you are able to have guys like yourself go on your own YouTube platform and talk about it, when you have guys like myself that can do it, or anyone else that's in the media industry, continue to talk and promote a sport, when other companies and sanctioning bodies can understand, just like NASCAR did, and give a little bit of respect and put the respect on the name of NHRA drag racing, that's what we're here for. And it takes the little, and I'm going to say this again, just like I said about Justin Ashely, it takes the short steps back to make a comeback. That's what we have to do. If this is our next 2 years, is the rebuilding years of what drag racing should be, then let's build it together, because the hype going into this first race was unreal because of the off season. The hype going in, like people are already talking about Gainesville, and we're not even in Arizona yet.
Right.
Everybody on the East Coast is like, hey, West Coast, y'all doing y'all thing. Y'all had the Super Bowl. Y'all had this race. But when they come back East Coast, yeah, we're going to have a party. So,
and Gainesville is going to have the first rendition of the All-Star call-out situation. And look, so glad to have Pet Boys come on board for that program. Another marketing partner coming back to NHRA drag racing. That is good news.
I mean, man, it's, I don't know. I mean, Lee, it's just, it's unreal. The hype that is going on right now about drag racing. I guarantee you right now, if you don't follow any other platforms other than Competition Plus, when you get off this show tonight, scroll through your timeline. If you have friends that are drag racing friends, they've said something about Pomona.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, it's
Pomona. It amazes me how people are waiting for that one moment and like, oh, there it is for my argument. And it's a straw man situation, because when you factor in everything around Pomona, it was a good crowd for everything that's factored in. Remember, last year, there were NHRA sellouts. I remember Gainesville. It was packed.
But no,
I remember
Lee,
the Texas Motorplex packed.
Lee,
I remember.
Lee. But you got to remember, it was only sold out to COVID restrictions. You have to put that on there, right? You can't just say, oh, it was sold out. Because someone's going to say, well, they had COVID restrictions. And then this comment here, John, I wonder how much Fox paid Tony to miss the debut of his NHRA team. I know. The guy's got commitments. He's a businessman. He is a owner. He is, I mean, I'm going to leave it there. He's a businessman. I mean,
he was there Friday. He was there Friday for qualifying. He flew Saturday. And then I think, hey, use the platform of the Daytona 500 just like he did to express, hey, I have teams that are brand new and they're running in the NHRA Winternationals in Pomona, California. And that was given airtime, I believe, on NASCAR and even live at Pomona itself during round one. That's a cool deal.
Okay, but you have to look at this standpoint, right? Tony knows what he's doing. Tony is saying, okay, I'm going to go to NASCAR, and he's going to use that platform to talk about drag racing. Everyone knows that Tony now is involved in drag racing. So think about who maybe did Tony have a chance to go out to eat with? I mean, could the guy go out to eat with Michael Jordan? Yeah. Michael Jordan owns a NASCAR team, right? Oh my goodness. How many owners do you think that Tony can relate to and talk to and be like, hey man, I think this drag racing stuff is taking off. It's very lucrative, or, it may be a good investment for you, blah, 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 blah. Just like Justin just said, just like Mike has said, just like Bobby has said on this show, just like Glenn has said on this show. A lot of these meetings in the social media area and the hospitality, they're not talking about the 32 car and the 26 car. They ain't talking about them cars. They're like, hey man, I got this business plan. I know we can't be at the golf course right now, but this X, Y, and Z, you've got A, B, and C. How do we make this work? And I guarantee you there was one or two businesses that were there that Tony was talking about, not about NASCAR, but about NHRA drag racing.
Sure.
It's all a full circle. It's all a full circle. Give it time. Don't give up. Don't want everything right now. We're so greedy. We're so hungry. We've got to weather the storm. And I don't think we're on the bad side of this storm. We've seen it. We've seen people bash and even this show. I mean, there has been months where we're like, man, come on, NHRA, we got to do this. We got to do that, right? People are stepping up now and saying, hey, you know what? We're seeing the potential. We're seeing the growth. Slow and steady, wins the race. Do we like that? No, because we're in a fast sport. But so that's what I got, Lee. I mean, that's my feelings. That's my opinion. I'm almost out of water. I'm out of Monster. But hey, man.
Overall, I think for drag racing as a whole, and then yes, specifically the NHRA, it is trending upward and it's positive. I mean, remember last year we had the most watched ever televised drag race for the NHRA.
Yeah,
The Gator Nationals was over 2 million viewers. It's moving in the right direction. Maybe not as fast as we all might want, but it's moving in the right direction.
Hey, everyone's talking about Tony Stewart bringing his temper into drag racing. What you're talking about it, right? You're talking about his temper when he was in NASCAR. Guess what? It's good for biz. People don't talk about Tom Brady because people don't like Tom Brady because he sucks. No, they like him because he's good. People don't like him, right? I don't like Tom Brady. I'm kind of glad that he's out of the league. I don't have to worry about him winning another Super Bowl or anything. But you can't say you don't want that. You're not saying that Erica's a bad person. She said how she felt. Some publicity is good publicity. Some bad stuff that may happen. Steve Torrance, a couple of years ago, getting mad because the championship was on the line. Some people got mad about that. Talked about the sport. Drama helps promote things. You continue to talk about it. We talked about the burn down in pro stock. How long last year? 3 weeks.
Oh, way more than 3
Rivalry.
weeks. It continued.
I know.
And continued.
But you know what I mean? Like rivalries. Like everyone knows when the Raiders play the Chargers, it's a rivalry. Everyone knows about the Steelers and the Raiders. It's a rivalry. You know what I mean? Like, in the words of the great Mike Tyson, you can have a plan, but until you get punched in the face, that plan goes out of the window. But hopefully we don't see too many punches thrown in the pro stock pits this year. But we're going to have fun. It's going to be a great season. We're going to continue to talk drag racing. We're going to continue to bring you guys the late night show, the Tuesday special of what drag racing really is. And we appreciate you guys out there that stick it out, that watch, that like, share, comment, subscribe, everything. Lee, the Monday Morning Racer. Lee, tell everyone where they can find you.
Well, before I do that, I do want to mention this comment. Mokoto Yamada, hopefully I'm getting that right. I don't know what happened to Billy Torrance, how long Billy Torrance is until he's coming back. Billy has never ran the full schedule, and we don't always see him for each and every race, even the first one. So literally the way Steve has described it on this show is like dad rings up, is like, yep, I want to go top fuel racing this weekend, and they do it. So you never know when you're going to see Billy Torrance. And, on the Torrance family, Sam, Steve made a final round appearance, and that's nothing to scoff at. So I expect that we're going to see in Phoenix Steve lay it to folks, and we're going to see the roller coaster begin in earnest of Top Fuel drag racing for 2022.
Hold on. Just keep holding on. You never know. I don't want to make this prediction. I'm not going to make that prediction.
I don't know.
Oh my God. I'm not even answering that last question down in the comments. Guys, I'm going to say this, and Drag Racing Central said it too. At some point, we have to evolve as people. At some point, we have to evolve as fans. And at some point, we have to evolve as a community. Sometimes, some things are better left unsaid. Sometimes, some things have to just get over it. Okay? We as a community, we as a culture, and we as people, and in the times of today, we are moving forward. You weren't mad back then when sex, drug, or I can't call it drugs, but nicotine was in our sport. Get over it, okay? Lee, where can people find you?
They can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, definitely YouTube, all Monday Morning Racer. Just search it. By the way, Slam and Sam, Thursday night, the plan is on my show at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Monday Morning Racer outlet to have Hunter Green. That is the son of Chad Green. He completed his license runs for a Top Fuel license at Phoenix in Buddy Hull's now new car. And you don't want to miss this interview. He had an interesting journey, and I didn't even realize it was him in the car. But we've got some footage that we will show of his beginning of the journey, show the end of the journey, and him getting his license, and apparently plans on running some A Fuel this year as well. But Hunter Green on Between the Slicks on Monday Morning Racer, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Monday Morning Racer outlets. Slam and Sam, good to co-host with you on the Competition Plus Power Hour presented by Weldon High Performance Pumps. Make sure everyone subscribe to this very channel. Thank you, Bobby Bennett. Closer down, Sammy-O.
That's right, everybody. My name is Slam and Sam. You can find my creative page that I talk everything, just a back interview of who I am as Slam and Sam. But if you want to follow my main page, it's Outlaw Performance ENT. Outlaw Performance ENT. You can find me on YouTube. You can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and on Twitter. Please go over and like and subscribe to all those. Help a brother out. But we will be back next Tuesday, or maybe from the track here coming soon, to let you guys know what we think, our personal opinions on drag racing. Again, these are our personal opinions on drag racing and what we love about this sport. To Bobby Bennett and the crew over at Competition Plus, we appreciate you. To Weldon High Performance Pumps, we definitely appreciate you. If you want to become a marketing partner, please email us at competition or powerhourcp@gmail.com. Again, powerhourcp@gmail.com. And if you want to listen to our very, very nice voices tomorrow while you're at work dragging your day, you can go over to all your major platforms for your podcast and look under Competition Plus Power Hour where you can listen to it back. Again, you guys keep the pedal to the metal, and God bless. Until next time, we will see you soon.